stars are right, and that means it's time for another episode of The Whisper in Darkness. I'm your host, the Man from Lang. Thank you very much for joining me today on this episode. I am continuing my playthroughs of the Forgotten Age Deluxe expansion. This time we are going blind into the Doom of Eztli, the second scenario in that deluxe expansion. We, as you may remember, we took our Ursula Downs through the Untamed Wilds. We ended up with 6 experience points, which was, I thought, was pretty good for a first time through. Here is the deck. I did make a couple of changes. I decided to stick with this deck rather than go with something different for this playthrough. I purchased 1 copy of Karen's Obol and 1 copy of Higher Education with some of that experience, and I also swapped the copy of Calling in Favors for another copy of Emergency Cash because I wanted those extra resources to fuel Higher Education as well as Hyper Awareness. So we are going with the deck that we used with Untamed Wild, with a few changes, a few updates with the added experience. Now, after the Untamed Wilds, there is an interlude, and boy, was that a shocking experience. I had to remove 1 provisions, as I expected. However, I did not bring a bedroll or binoculars, and that really ended up costing me. I suffered 1 physical trauma because I did not bring the bedroll, and I suffered 1 mental trauma because I did not bring the binoculars. So that was very painful, and I have to say very surprising that you get hit with that much trauma that early in a campaign. So Ursula is going to be down to 6 health and 6 sanity going into the Doom of Eztli. So hopefully that that won't come back to bite us too badly. I guess on future playthroughs on solo, I know that I definitely need to bring along a bedroll and the binoculars. I'm kind of curious now to see how much those cost, considering the binoculars cost 2 supply points, while the blanket. It's the blanket I forgot. It's also 2 supply points. So there's 4 supply points out of your 10. Taken care of, plus you probably want 1 provisions, that's 5, a medicine, that's 6. So really you only have about 4 points to play around with, so that will be interesting for future playthroughs. But for now we did take the physical trauma and a mental trauma, so because we didn't bring the blanket and the binoculars. We are set up and ready to go here in Octagon. We have Ursula here with her resources and her physical and mental trauma. She has Karen's Obol, which is permanent and exceptional. And of course, if I am defeated during this scenario, I will earn. If I'm not defeated, I will earn 2 additional experience points. And if I am defeated during this scenario, I will be killed. This isn't, I don't think this is going to be my main playthrough of this campaign, so I'm not overly concerned about being defeated. It's awfully tough to know whether you're going to be defeated or not when you haven't played the scenario before. And we've got Higher Education, of course. It's the permanent, and while you have 5 or more cards in your hand, Higher Education gains the free triggered abilities. You can spend a resource to gain +2 willpower, which is really good for Ursula. She does need that extra willpower because she has an average of she's pretty average at 3, and we can also take a free triggered action to spend 1 resource and get +2 intellect for this skill test, which of course is always helpful when you are investigating. Ursula starts play here at the entryway. It is a 2-shroud location with 1 clue. It has the Ancient and Ruins traits, and it has an action Resign. You've escaped for now. And it also has an action Check your supplies. If you have torches, look at the top 2 cards of the exploration deck. Discard each treachery looked at by this effect. Shuffle the exploration deck. That sounds pretty ominous. if you can simply discard the treacheries, they must be pretty bad. So I am not looking forward to entering this temple without torches, but that's what we're doing. So we don't really have a choice. And many hundreds of years ago, this temple might have been a bastion of beauty and reverence in this perilous jungle. And it has the square and star symbols, so that's what we'll be. Those are the locations we will be looking for when we start exploring the temple. Our agenda is 1A. Something stirs. Despite Ichitaka's warnings, you've entered the ruins of the temple in search of ancient knowledge and artifacts. This agenda gets +1 doom per investigator, so the doom threshold is +1 per investigator. So this will actually be a 7 rather than a 6. So we have a little bit of extra time. And it has the forced effect: when this agenda advances, do not remove doom from each location in play. So I guess by that we are going to be placing doom on locations in play at some point. So we'll have to see how that mechanic plays out. Our act is 1A, into the ruins. After your hellish journey through the jungle, the quiet solitude of the temple ruins sow paranoia in your mind. Serpent eyes glare at you from the darkness. Every drop of water and fallen pebble causes you to whirl about in search of danger, but the real danger is yet to come. Boy, they are making this sound extremely ominous. And of course, it has the action explore. Draw the top card of the exploration deck. If it is a connecting location, put it into play and move to it. We are going to need 3 clues per investigator to advance the act, so that will be 3 clues. We are playing the Doom of Eztli on standard difficulty. The skulls are -1, so they've become a little more difficult since the Untamed Wilds. There, you may remember that they depend on the amount of vengeance in the victory display. So they're -1, but they're also -3 instead if there is doom on your location. So we are going to want to try to avoid adding doom to our locations if at all possible, so we can keep the skulls a nice -1. There was 1 cultist token added to the bag during the Untamed Wilds. It is -X. X is the number of locations with doom on them. So it sounds like that is going to slowly increase over the game. So we'll have to be wary of that. And the other thing is reveal another chaos token. If you fail, place 1 doom on your location. So there is a mechanic here that allows you to place doom on your location if you pull that elder thing. That's a reveal another token. That's pretty difficult to deal with because you can... well, it's actually not too bad. If as long as we are wary of those -3 and -5 tokens, we should be okay as long as we can get to that +2 threshold before the pull. I think we'll be all right. Now, we did have to set a couple cards aside, and they are quite interesting. The first is a big bad guy. This is the Harbinger of Velusia. The Sleeper Awakens. He's got 3 fight, 10 health per investigator, and 3 evade. Boy, 10 health per investigator. What's that, 40 in a 4-player game? He's got Humanoid Monster, Serpent, and Elite traits. He's got Alert, Hunter, and Retaliate. That's a lot of keywords. He'll basically hit you whenever. And the Harbinger of Velusia can retaliate while exhausted. So even exhausting him is no guarantee that he won't attack you. He has a forced effect. After Harbinger of Velusia is successfully attacked or evaded, place 1 resource on it. Then if there are 2 resources per investigator on it, it vanishes with a sinister hiss. Set it aside out of play. It keeps all damage tokens. So that's an interesting mechanic there, that it remembers its damage. We haven't seen that type of mechanic before in this game. He's got Vengeance 5, so killing this guy really will really piss off Yig, and he will hit you for 2 damage and 2 horror. And with all those keywords, Alert and Retaliate, he will have many opportunities to do that if you are not extremely careful around him. Fortunately, we've got an agility of 4 going in, and hopefully we will be able to boost that slightly higher. Of course, we are not going to be killing the Harbinger at all because we are not equipped to do that. So I guess if we meet this guy, if and when we meet this guy, we will need to evade him twice and put 2 resources on him. The other card that's set aside is the Chamber of Time. It's a 4-shroud location with 2 clues per investigator. It's got the Forgotten and Ruins trait. It has the forced effect. After Chamber of Time enters play, attach the set-aside Relic of Ages asset to the Chamber of Time. Place 1 Doom on the Chamber of Time. There's that place 1 Doom again. And it's worth 2 Vengeance and 2 Victory. So exploring, if we remove the 2 clues from this location, we do get 2 victory points, but we will also piss off Yig, and we will suffer that 2 Vengeance. The Vengeance doesn't affect the tokens as it did in the previous one, but it will count against us. We do have to tally those at the end of the scenario. Finally, there is the Relic of Ages, a device of some sort. It's a 2-cost asset with 3 wild icons, the item and relic traits. You have no idea what it is for or what it might have been used for, but perhaps with time you could discover its true purpose. So I guess that's our goal, is to get this relic. We need to go into the temple, find this relic, and then probably escape, I would presume. And the Harbinger of Valusia is going to be waiting for us in the temple somewhere. I'm not looking forward to meeting him. Hopefully we will be set up and ready to evade him once he shows up. And we know that the relic is at the chamber, and judging by the chamber, it's got the hourglass symbol. So when we are exploring, we are going to be looking for the location with that hourglass, a location that can lead us to that hourglass symbol. The chamber has the squiggly line symbol, so I'm not sure what that means, but we shall see. We'll be looking for that hourglass symbol, though. I think we are ready to go here. We will shuffle up our deck. As you may remember, we drew Overzealous as our weakness during the last scenario, and that is what is in our deck now. So we are ready to draw our opening hand. Let's see how we do. We will start off. We have an Unexpected Courage, a Perception, a Logical Reasoning, an Inquiring Mind, and an Unearth the Ancients. I don't like this hand at all. I am going to get rid of the whole thing. Nothing all that good in that hand, unfortunately. Lots of stuff that you want later. We will get a Manual Dexterity, another Unexpected Courage. There's a Magnifying Glass. That's nice to see. An Emergency Cash and an Art Student. Okay, so we've got an ally. That's nice. And we've got our Magnifying Glass. That is also nice. That'll help us with the Investigate. An Emergency Cash, which will boost our resources when we hopefully draw that... when we draw our Hyper Awareness. We do need to keep 5 cards in hand to be able to use Higher Education, so that is something to keep in mind. Ideally, I think it'd be nice if we could get Jake Williams down in play, because he does let us draw a card every time we move to a new location, and that would let us keep our hand up. So we are going to have to take this a little bit more slowly, but let's see what we can do. I think we're ready to go. So let's. I'm excited. Are you excited? Let's do this thing. Let's beat this scenario. Hopefully, I haven't played this, so I don't know what to expect. I've heard through the grapevine that it's Untamed Wilds was difficult, and this is more difficult. So I don't know what that holds for us. Let's see, what do we do here? I think we're going to get down our Magnifying Glass for free. It's fast, of course, and it will give us +1 intellect while investigating. Then I am going to try to grab this clue. We are now a 5 versus 2, so that's pretty good. So let's see what the Chaos Bag gives us here. Chaos Bag says there is the Elder thing, so that's reveal another Chaos token, and if we fail, we place 1 Doom on our location. Chaos Bag says auto fail, so that is that's pretty much the worst start we could have. We end up with a Doom on our first location on our first action. Wow. And so that is going to mean our the skulls are now a -3 instead if there is a Doom on our location, and the cultist is a -1 now. So that is a bad start. A very bad start for us. 5 versus 2, we can still handle a -3 if we do pull a skull, so we are going to take another action to investigate. Chaos Bag says -1 this time, so we will grab that clue. We've got 1 action remaining. There's no sense in staying here at the entryway, so we are going to start to do some exploration. Here is our exploration deck. We'll make sure nobody can look at it. We will shuffle it up and let us see what our first exploration is. Exploration is the ancient hall. It is the square. We need a square, so that is good. So we will move to the ancient hall. The ancient hall is a 3-shroud location with 2 clues per investigator, not resources, clues. It has the ancient and ruin traits, and it has the forced effect. At the end of the round, flip 1 of the clues on Ancient Hall to its doom side. Any investigator at Ancient Hall may spend 3 resources to cancel this effect. That's interesting. There's 2 clues per investigator. We do not have a way of grabbing multiple clues. We do have Ursula's free action that she can do an investigate check, but we will not be able to prevent that doom this turn unless we spend the resources. I think I've got the resources to spend. If we spend 3, that leaves us with 1. And then we're going to draw a card, so we will still be able to fire higher education if we need to. So I think we're okay preventing it this round. A hall of crumbling stone looms before you, daring you to venture deeper into the ruins. It's got the circle, star, and diamond traits. So yellow, brownish red, I guess, and green. That's what we'll be looking for. Of course, we are looking for that hourglass symbol at some point, because that is how we get to the chamber with the relic. So Ursula gets her free action here. So she's a 5 versus 3. A little more difficult this time, but the skulls are back down to -1. So I do like our chances. Let's see what the Chaos Bag has to say. Chaos Bag says -3. Ah, brother. Chaos Bag, come on, buddy. Help me out here. So that is going to be a failure. So at the end of the round, we are going to have to spend some resources to flip this, to prevent this clue from flipping, because I don't want, I want to be able to collect these clues easily. All right, so we draw a card. There's a logical reasoning. That's nice to have. We will gain a resource, and then we will spend 3 resources to prevent the ancient hall from flipping one of its clues to its doom side. And yeah, that's all we have to do. We will go to the first mythos phase. I'm going to give the encounter deck a shuffle. It's a fairly large encounter deck, 29 cards, so that's good. First encounter card is going to be Final Mistake. Oh dear, that looks terrible. That blade went right through his chest. It's a trap. Revelation. Test 2 agility. This test gets +1 difficulty for each doom on your location. If you fail, take 2 damage. All right, so that That is 2 damage. Okay, well that's not bad. We did make the right decision not to add Doom to our location because this would have been received +1 difficulty at least. Okay, so we are a 4 versus 2. I am not going to pitch anything to that because I want to keep my higher education online. We're just going to go straight to the Chaos Bag. Chaos Bag says Skull. That will be a -1, so we are successful. So we do not take 2 damage. Nice. Okay. It is our turn again. I do want to grab these 2 clues as quickly as we can. We do have 5 cards in our hand, so we can spend some resources on higher education if we need to. Higher education would put us at 5, 6, 7 versus 3. That pretty much takes everything but the -5 and the tentacle out of contention. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my first action to investigate using higher education to go 7 versus 3. Chaos Bag says there's that Elder Thing token again. We have to reveal another token, and if we fail we add a Doom. Chaos Bag says -5. What the hell is going on, Chaos Bag? Come on. Holy man. I'm getting pissed off here. This is ridiculous. Okay, so now we've added a Doom. So, yeah, that happened. All right, well, we're just going to keep investigating because we don't really have a choice. I'm going to go, again, we will go 7 versus 3. We shouldn't be failing these tests, but we certainly are. Chaos Bag says, another -5? You've got to be kidding me. Come on. Oh, the RNG is just killing me here. All right, well, I guess I'm taking another action here to investigate. This time I am going to pitch. I'm going to pitch my unexpected courage. And so we are going to go 5, 6, 7. And let's see how we do. Chaos Bag gives us an auto fail. You have got to be kidding me. Please, Chaos Bag, take it easy. Oh, I need a drink. Give me a second here. Okay, so that was basically the worst turn I think I have ever had in the Arkham Horror LCG. That was rotten from top to bottom. I don't know, maybe I've screwed up when I made the Chaos Bag and put nothing but -5s and auto fails and Elder Things in that bag, but the bag should not be that bad at this point of the game. It should be very, still should be quite easy on us. I guess it's, we did get it pretty easy during the Untamed Wilds, but this is ridiculous. So we are going to end up flipping one of the clues on Ancient Halls to his Doom side. That's going to delay everything. So we will gain a card and a resource. And yeah, so we lose a clue and we add a Doom. So we are up now to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to be at 5 this turn. 2, 4, 5 out of 7 already. And this is the second turn. The second turn. All right, let's see what our chaos bag, what our what we draw from the encounter deck. Here we go. We get a Brood of Yig. All right, so an enemy. That's not great. Don't want to see him that early. He's got 2 fight, 3 health, 2 evade, humanoid, monster, serpent, hunter. Brood of Yig gets +1 fight for each vengeance point in the victory display. And he will hit for 1 damage and 1 horror. He is he's just a 2 because we don't have any vengeance points in the victory display. Okay, so we've got to evade. We've got to get this clue. Are we advancing this turn? 2, 4, 5? No, unless this clue flips, we won't advance this turn. Okay, so we are going to, first of all, we're going to try to evade the Brood of Yig. So we're going 4 versus 2. Chaos Bag says +1. Finally, hallelujah, Chaos Bag. About bloody time. So he will be exhausted. All right, we need to grab this clue so we can make some progress here. Second action, we will investigate. We've gone 7 versus 3 and we've still failed. So yeah, so now we're gonna go 5 versus 3. Maybe we were too aggressive. Let's go 5 versus 3. See how we do. -1. Okay, that's the trick. Don't commit anything to it. Don't tempt the Chaos Bag to come after you. So we do grab that clue. Good stuff. Okay. We've got 2 clues out of 3. And we now need to, I think we're going to explore. As our final action, we'll shuffle up the exploration deck and we will draw a Crypt Chill. Test 4 willpower. If you fail, choose and discard 1 asset you control. If you cannot, you take 2 damage. The only asset we can discard is our magnifying glass. How do I feel about that? I'm not really interested in discarding my magnifying glass, so I am going to pitch this. I'm going to pitch my logical reasoning. So that will give us +2. So we're at 5. I think I'm also gonna 5 versus 4. I think I'm also gonna use a higher education. Oh, I can't do that. I have to use higher education first. Okay, so that's what we'll have to do. So we'll spend the resource first for higher education to add 2. So we're at 5. 6, 7 with logical reasoning. Chaos Bag says there's a cultist. That's a -2. So we are successful. And that Crypt Chill is discarded. During the upkeep, the Brood of Yig readies and re-engages us. We get to draw a card. There's the Tooth of Eztli. That's nice, but we need to get some resources here to be able to play it, and we need to deal with this Brood of Yig, who is going to be a hunter, who's going to hunt us down. Higher education is still online, though, if we need to pitch something, if we get a bad test here. So we go to turn, we advance the Doom. 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 7. So we are going to be advancing next turn, and we draw a card from the encounter deck. It is Snake Scourge. It is a curse. Revelation. Put Snake Scourge into play in your threat area. If you are poisoned, Snake Scourge gains Surge. Treat each of your non-weakness item assets as if the text box were blank. Okay, so now they just blanked our magnifying glass. That wasn't. That's not great, considering how many resources and stuff we committed to that to keep it around. Forced at the end of the round, discard Snake Scourge. So it's only for a turn. Thank goodness we aren't poisoned, so it doesn't gain Surge. Treat each of your non-weakness item assets. Okay, so yeah, it's just the magnifying glass. Okay, well, we gain our 3 actions, we need to evade the Brood of Yig first. So we're going 4 versus 2. Chaos Bag says there's the Elder Sign. That's interesting. I think she gets a move, doesn't she? +1, and I may move to a connecting location. Is it worth moving away from the Brood of Yig? I don't think it is, because the entryway only gives us one other location we can move to, while this one gives us 2. So I think I'm going to stay put, but he is exhausted. Let's do some exploring. We will use an action to explore, shuffle up our exploration deck, draw a card. There's Deep Dark, another treachery. This is the 2nd or 3rd treachery we've seen. Let me see here. Yes, I think it's the 3rd treachery. Okay. Hazard, put Deep Dark into play next to the agenda deck. No more than 1 clue may be discovered from each location by each investigator each round. Boy, that's nasty with the Ancient Ruins. And it has the forced effect. At the end of the round, discard 1 copy of Deep Dark from play, max once per round. So that will... that is also going to disappear at the end of the round. Okay. Not terrible. Let's shuffle this up, because we are going to explore again. This time we get the Grand Chamber. Hey, that's a star. We can go there. Yes, we can. All right. Let's leave that Brood of Yig behind for now. We will move to the Grand Chamber. It's a 2-shroud location with 1 clue. It has the Ancient and Ruins traits. It has the forced effect. When you investigate Grand Chamber and do not succeed by at least 2, before resolving any other effects from this skill test, flip 1 of the clues on Grand Chamber to its doomed side. The ornate dais in the center of this chamber is covered in detailed hand-carved hieroglyphics, a site for ancient gatherings or rituals, perhaps. And it gives us the... it's got the circle, square, and triangle, so yellow, blue, and red. So we want the blue, and it's worth a victory point. But we need to succeed by at least 2, otherwise our investigation is not successful. Okay, so we really need to succeed here, is what you're saying, game. So I'm going to first use my resource to power up higher education to give us +2. Remember, our magnifying glass is blank, so we're at 4, 5, 6. I'm going to pitch a perception to go 7, 8. 8 versus 2. Please let that be enough. Chaos Bag gives us an Elder Sign again. So after one of the worst turns I've ever had in the Arkham Horror LCG, we've gotten a couple Elder Signs back to back here. And that's awfully nice. Okay, so we do get this clue. We draw a card for the perception. I've got a plan. That could help us take out that Brood of Yig as long as we hold on to our clues. However, we do have the 3 clues that we can advance the act deck now. So I think I would like to do that before my turn ends. Yeah, we don't have anything there. All right, so let's spend the clues. And we will flip over our act to act 1B, Hidden Corridors. The ruins are far more vast than even Alejandro had anticipated. Carvings in the walls and hieroglyphs etched into the stone altars suggest the existence of a central chamber underground. Perhaps a hidden passageway will show you the way to this chamber, the very heart of the temple ruins. Shuffle the set-aside Chamber of Time location into the exploration deck. All right, so that the chamber goes into the exploration deck. Shuffle that up. And what else is happening here? As you pass the strange glyphs in the walls, the ruins groan and creak in protest, and the carvings glow ominously. Years of deterioration have faded the pattern of these glyphs, and the surrounding stones seep with a viscous pus. If only you had some way to restore these glyphs. Check your supplies. If an investigator has chalk, remove this act from the game. Otherwise, place this act in the victory display. It gains Vengeance 1. Oh, wow. That's a that's a neat mechanic. Okay, so we didn't bring chalk either. So we are going to remove this act. We place this act in the victory display, and we get Vengeance 1. Where is our victory display? Is this it here? Yes, that is it there. Okay, so we've placed that act in the victory display. Act 2A is magic and science. Whatever is inside this central chamber must be very important. Much care was taken to obscure its location. And this card has the action Explore. Draw the top card of the exploration deck. If it is a connecting location, put it into play and move to it. And it has the objective, only investigators in the Chamber of Time may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. So we need to get to the Chamber of Time and spend 2 clues in order to advance this act. Very well. We have a very clear objective. We will go to the upkeep phase. The Brood of Yig will ready. So he is here. Did we? Yeah, we don't remove Doom in play when we advance the agenda, which we are going to do this turn. Okay, so this is going at the end of the round. This is going at the end of the round. Okay, so we get to draw a card first. There is Jake. Nice to see him. We do have emergency cash, so we can probably get him into play. So yeah, we do want him in play because he can help us keep our hand size large enough to keep using higher education. And it is the end of the round, so Snake Scourge is going to go away, and this Deep Tark is going to go away, and we advance the agenda. 4, 5, 6, 7. So this agenda is advancing. All right, Agenda 1B is the Ruins Awaken. Oh no. Just then, a sound thrums in the walls of the temple, a dull humming similar to that of a generator. Grooves in the walls and the ceiling flicker and start to glow. It is as though the temple is alive and it senses your presence. The strange statues and carvings you've seen, coupled with the dim glow and the power coursing through the walls, makes it clear that this temple isn't Aztec in origin. In fact, it appears to be from an even older, more ancient civilization altogether. You feel as though you are an intruder in a world you cannot begin to understand, confirming your worst fears. A loud hiss and rattling echoes throughout the chamber, or the temple, sorry. Whatever you just woke up, it's not happy to see you. Spawn the set-aside Harbinger of Velusia at the location with the most doom. That will be the Ancient Hall. It has 2 doom. So as we pretty much expected, the Harbinger has arrived. He is a hunter, so he is going to give chase to us, and he will kill us pretty quickly along with this brood if we don't get moving. So our goal is we're going to have to do a lot of exploring here because we've only really got 1 location we can get to, and that is the triangle. So we will have to get moving here. That is all for that. Agenda 2A is the Temple Warden. The serpent creature emerges from the shadows with terrifying speed. It is bedecked in gilded feathers and wields a golden spear, the blade tipped unravaged by time. The rattle at the end of the creature's tail produces a tremendous noise as the creature hunts you throughout the ruins. This agenda gets plus 1 doom threshold per investigator, so it is going to be a 13. So pretty lazy doom threshold, but as you've seen, adding doom to locations can and will happen, so we are already at 3 doom. And we've got 2 hunters on our trail. This could be a very quick game if they catch us. But we can get rid of the Harbinger if we evade him twice. That is all we need to do with him. So that is nice. We need to draw an encounter card. Let us see. We didn't reshuffle anything, so let's see what we get. It is Ancestral Fear, Terror, Peril, Surge, Revelation. You must choose either. Place 1 doom on your location and discard Ancestral Fear. Or we place Ancestral Fear in the victory display, and it is Vengeance 1. I'm going to place it in the victory display. Sure. I'll take the Vengeance 1. It doesn't affect me now. It'll hurt later down the road, but I will take it now, so I don't have to add a doom. Okay. 3 actions. We just need to do some exploring here. That's really all we need to do. First action, we will explore. We get the Burial Pit. It is the blue triangle, so nice. All right. We do get to move to the Burial Pit. Burial Pit is a 3-shroud location with 1 clue. It has the Ancient and Ruins traits. Forced, after you put Burial Pit into play by exploring successfully, you must either draw 2 cards from the top of the encounter deck or place 2 doom on Burial Pit, or any combination thereof. Yeah, I can see why this... there's a lot of doom on locations. I wasn't sure how easy it would be to add doom, but... so do we draw 2 cards off the top of the encounter deck or add 2 doom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need... how many clues do we need? We need 2. We could get 1 here. And then we'd have to move again. We could explore again this turn, putting some distance between us and the enemies. Okay, what do we do? I'm gonna 3. The cultist goes up to a -3 that way. Drawing more enemies would be bad. We've already got a lot to deal with. I'm going to take the doom. I think I can outrace it, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know at this point. I guess we'll take the doom just because I think I can outrace it. 2, 4, 6, 7. We'll still have 6 turns to beat it. So we had the clue. Urns and broken bones fill this pit of ash and sand. The stench of rot has long since dissipated, leaving behind only stale-smelling air saturated with choking dust. So we are a 5 versus 3. We are going to investigate. 5 versus 3. Chaos Bag says Skull. That is -3. That is unfortunate, so we will fail. I am going to pitch a resource. That was Ursula's free action, of course. So we will take another action. I'm going to pitch a resource for higher education. We will go 7 versus 3. Chaos Bag says -5. Oh, for Pete's sakes. Okay, so that's a failure. We're going to investigate again. 5 versus 3. Chaos Bag gives us another -3. That is just bad news. Okay, well, so we fail all 3 times again. Not great. Not a great start. Go to the enemy phase. The hunters will move. All right. We do get to draw a card and gain a resource. There is another magnifying glass. And we will add a doom. So we were at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 13 on turn 6. A lot of doom flying around. We draw an encounter card, which is another ancestral fear. Place 1 doom on your location or add it to the victory display. It's going to the victory display. And yeah, so it's our turn again. All right, we really need this. We really need to grab this clue and get moving again. So first action, we're going to go 5. We'll pitch a user resource to go 5, 6, 7 versus 3. Chaos Bag says +1. Okay, thank you, Chaos Bag. Use our second action to do some exploring. 6 cards in the exploration deck. We draw a final mistake. We've seen this one before. It's a trap. The guy with the blade through his chest. Test 2 agility. If this test gets +1 difficulty for each doom on your location. If you fail, you take 2 damage. So we are at 2. It's going to be a 4 versus 4. Because there are 2 doom, we are going to pitch our manual dexterity to go 6 versus 4. Chaos Bag gives us a 0, so we do pass and draw a card. There's our field work. Okay. And we're going to explore again because we've got to get away from these hunters. So that is discarded. And we've got 5 locations. Let's shuffle them up. We explore, we find a secret passage. Can I get to the secret passage? Yes, I can. I can get to the secret passage from the burial pit. Nice. Okay, so I think this is key. All right. Secret passage, 5 shroud location with 1 clue. Ancient ruins traits. Forced, after you enter secret passage, you must either take 1 horror and 1 damage or place 1 doom on secret passage. Check your supplies. If you or an investigator at secret passage has a rope, ignore this effect. We have a rope. We brought the rope. Finally, one of our supplies actually pays off. So we don't have to take a horror or a damage. We don't have to take a horror and a damage or place a doom. So we do get to ignore the effect. Thank goodness. A boulder obscured the route to this dark passageway. As soon as you step through the doorway, it opens into a vast underground pit below. It's worth a victory point, and it's got 5. It's 5 shrouds, so this is going to be tough to investigate. What do we do here? I would like to grab this clue this turn, because then we'd have the 2 clues we need, and then we would just need to find the Chamber of Time. Okay, so let us... we haven't used Ursula's effect this turn, so we do get an investigate. I'm going to pitch the art student. 4, 5, 6, and the... I've got a plan. 4, 5, 6, 7 versus 5. Is that going to be enough, Chaos Bag? 0. It is enough. Hooray! Chaos Bag and I are we're not friends yet. That's for sure. We're still mortal enemies after that terrible couple turns we've had. So those go to the discard pile. Okay, so we did grab the clue with that Ursula's free action. We've got our 2 clues. Now we just need to find that hidden chamber, the Chamber of Time. We can only go to Hourglass. That's what we need. We also have the green diamond as a possibility. Okay, so that's going to be the end of our turn. The Brood and the Harbinger move to the Burial Pit. I will draw a card. There is a Inquiring Mind. That's awfully nice. Gain a resource. Add a Doom. We are now 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 13. 7 out of 13. And we'll draw an encounter card, which is Ill Omen, Terror, Peril, Revelation. This guy doesn't look like he had a good trip through the ruins either. Choose a location where there is at least 1 investigator. Place 1 doom on that location. Each investigator at the chosen location takes 1 horror. Okay, so we have to place a doom on our location. Fair enough. Okay, so yeah, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 13. 5 turns. Can we do it? Ursula's got the speed, but I don't know if I've got to somehow evade these. I have to get back to the Grand Chamber if I want to get out and resign. So that could be tricky. All right. We get our 3 actions. We've still got 5 cards in hand. The skulls are -3 still. The cultist is now a -4. Yeah, cultist is -4, so that's bad news. All right, so we're gonna we're gonna explore. There's 4 locations. We draw the Chamber of Time. Well, look at this. We're getting extremely lucky as far as our explorer go. We get to move to the Chamber of Time. After Chamber of Time enters play, attach the set-aside Relic of Ages asset to the Chamber of Time. Place 1 doom on the Chamber of Time. And it's a 4-shroud location with 2 clues. And it's got Vengeance 2 and Victory 2. The floor of this central chamber is intricately carved and glows strangely. Okay. So, and it's attached to the squiggly line. So I guess we're going right back the way we came through this mess of the Harbinger and the Brood. This could be very difficult. Okay. We've got only investigators in the Chamber of Time may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. I will do that now. Whoops. I'm taking clues from the wrong place. We'll spend our 2 clues to advance our agenda. Or act, sorry. Act 2B is the relic. The relic hums with power and throbs in your hands. Energy from the device seeps into the corridors of the ruins and the structure of the temple shifts. Choose an investigator in the Chamber of Time to take control of the Relic of Ages. So we have it. Doesn't take up any hand slots or anything. Move the placement of each location to form a straight line. Okay, well, I've already done that. With the Chamber of Time on the left and the entryway on the right. Okay, well, you want me to reverse everything? Ah, brother. Okay. I think I'm just going to keep it this way. The entryway is on the left and the chamber is on the right, but yeah, we are in a straight line, I think. I think we're safe to, we're good to go here. Okay. I don't think it matters. I'll do it anyway, what the hell. Let's put this there and this there. So yeah, we've the upcoming, what I've got planned, upcoming, Thresholds of Fate was released on Thursday, so I'm going to obviously have my reviews for that. And then I've got Labyrinths of Lunacy came out last week, and I'm hoping to bring you some playthroughs of that particular scenario. We've also got, what else is there? Thresholds of Fate, Labyrinths of Lunacy. So yeah, I'll be bringing you the reviews of Thresholds of Fate, as well as a blind playthrough of that. If we manage to survive this, I might just keep on going with Ursula. She seems to be doing pretty well. Otherwise, I'll probably play it blind in standalone mode as usual, and then I'll at some point launch a campaign. I've also got to finish those campaigns up from the Paths to Carcosa, and hopefully I can get those done here shortly. And I think we've moved all of the locations in the correct order. These guys were at, where were they? They were at the burial pit, right? Because we did discover the chamber. Okay, we've done this. We've done the reorganization as required. Oh, okay. Each other location is placed from left to right in between these two locations in order of how much doom from lowest to highest. In the event of a tie, you may decide the order. Okay, so each other location is placed from left to right between these two locations in order of how much doom on them. Okay, so I better read the rest of this. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Lowest to highest, and in the event of a tie, you may decide the order. Until the end of the scenario, ignore all location connections. Instead, each location is connected to each location to its left and right. Okay, so we need to put... So, lowest to highest, is it? How much doom on them from lowest to highest? Okay. So the secret path should stay. No. The grand chamber goes first. Followed by the secret passage. Followed by, we have a choice between the burial pit and the ancient hall. Okay, we're gonna have to do some calculation here. Okay, so we can start running now. So if we go 1, 2, Ursula can hit the secret passage this turn. I think we want the enemies furthest away from us so they can move, and then we can move and evade them if necessary. Okay, so if we go 1, 2, they will move here to the ancient hall. I will move to the secret passage. They will move to the ancient hall. Next turn, I can move to the ancient hall. And then I can evade them. 1, 2. How many? 3, 4. Yeah, I'm going to have to evade probably the Harbinger for sure. Okay. I might be able to get out with keeping the Brood of Yigalong, because I have only taken 1 health and 1 sanity damage. I think I'm going to leave it this way. I think that's the right order. And I assume I have to resign. That's my goal now. Oh dear. That vengeance is coming back to bite me. Act 3A, escape the ruins. The ruins are shuddering with tremendous power. You fear that the structure may collapse. If this keeps up, you have to escape with the relic. While there are 3 or more vengeance points in the victory display, each serpent enemy gets +1 evade. Objective: if each undefeated investigator has resigned, advance. Okay, so how many vengeance points are in the victory display? 2. 2. Oh, 3. Right, 3 because of that. Come on. Okay, yeah, so we do have 3 vengeance points in the victory display. Ouch, that hurts. Okay. So these guys each get +1 evade. So he's a 4. What do we have to deal with that? We've got 6 turns, so we can prepare. They go here. I go here. They go here, I go there. Evade, move. I think I can do it. It's just, it's going to be tricky here. Okay, so we need... What do we need to do? We need to boost our evade somehow. We've got field work. That'll give us +2 skill value. So that's okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my emergency cash to gain 3 resources. Then I'm going to play my field work for 2. Okay, so that'll give us +2 skill value on the next skill test we perform after we move. So ideally what I need to do is move to their location, move to the enemy's location, evade the Harbinger, and then evade the Brood. Or I can even take the Brood's damage for a turn and move, and then evade him the following turn. Okay, obviously I'm not going after the clues here at the Chamber of Time. Simply not worth it at this point. Where are we in the grand scheme of things? Yeah, we took our 2 actions, so we go to the enemy phase. They will move. We will draw a card. There's our hyper awareness. Oh, that's nice to see. We will gain a resource. Add a doom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we only have 3 turns left. We'll draw a card. Entombed. It's a trap. Put Entombed into play in your threat area. You cannot disengage from enemies or move. Okay, that hurts us. Test 4 agility to escape the tomb, or 4 combat to break out. If you succeed, discard Entombed. If you fail, reduce the difficulty of this skill test by 1 until the end of the round. Okay, so basically we do get we fail once, we get an easier shot at it next turn. However, we cannot move. That is a bit of an issue. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Dear, oh dear. This could be tough. We may not make it, but all right, so let's go. So we get our 3 actions. We need to break the Entombed in order to move. Okay, so it's a 4 versus 4. Really don't like the odds of that. 4 versus 4 will go straight up. There's the cultist. So yeah, I'm glad we didn't commit anything to that, because that's a -5 at this point. So now we go 4 versus 3. There's a skull. That's a -1. Oh, no, that's a -3. So again, we fail. Final action, we go 4 versus 2. Let's see how we do. There's another skull, so that's a failure. And yeah, that's going to hurt us really badly. So we end up at, it's only until the end of the round, so we're going to go back up to 4 next turn. This Entombed could very well kill us. So we will, during the enemy phase, the enemies advance to the secret passage. We will draw a card. There is our weakness. That's pretty much the worst time you can draw an overzealous. We are going to be drawing 3 encounter cards here. So here's, or 2 at least, and then 1 during the Mythos phase. We will draw 1 here. We get Creeping Poison. It surges. Each investigator who is poisoned takes 1 damage. That does nothing. So we will surge into... Oh, so it gains Surge. So this is just our second one. Attached to Obscuring Fog, attached to your location limit once per location. Attached location gets +2 Shroud. So that's fine. We weren't planning to investigate anyway. And that will take care of the Overzealous. Okay. Didn't hurt us too badly. Or at all, actually. Gain a resource. And we will add a Doom. We are at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 out of 13. Draw an encounter card, which is going to be Curse of Yig. Put Curse of Yig into your play area. You get -1 combat, -1 health, and gain the Serpent trait. Fair enough. And we can test, take an action to test Willpower 2. This test gets +1 difficulty for each Vengeance point in the victory display, so that's going to be a 5. And if you succeed, discard Curse of Yig. We are probably not going to be discarding Curse of Yig at all. So we don't have to worry about that right now. All right, we get our 3 actions. We really need to escape the Entombed. We're back up to Agility 4. Take our first action. Oh, we do have the Inquiring Mind. I forgot about that. Oh, that could have saved us last turn. Oh well, pays to read the cards in your hand sometimes. We'll go 4, 5, 6, 7 versus 4. Chaos Bag says -2, so we do get to escape the Entombed. Okay, so we discard the Entombed. It's not over yet. Okay, so we can take an action to move to the Grand Chamber, but then we're going to take 3 damage and 3 sanity. That's not ideal. I'm going to play my Hyper Awareness for 2 resources. I think next turn is going to be the key, because we need to, the enemies will move to the Grand Chamber, then we move, evade, and then maybe move again, take the 2 damage and 2 horror, and then from the double attack from the Brood of Yig, then we can evade him. 1, 2, 3. Get to the entryway. We may just have enough time. Drawing a shortcut would be awfully nice at this point. What do we do? Do we draw another? Do we draw a card, or do we draw a resource? Because we need to skip past that. He's going to be a 4 versus 4. We're going to be 6, and then we can discard stuff. Shortcut. We need a shortcut. Let's draw a card. Shortcut. Oh, nice. Okay. I need to take another drink here. This is going to be an intense ending here. So, okay. So we drew our shortcut. Just what we needed at this point. So now we've got that extra move. That's going to help us. Okay, so we will draw. We go to the enemy phase. The Brood and the Harbinger move to the Grand Chamber. I draw a card. There's an Inquiring Mind. Okay. I gain a resource. We add a Doom. We're at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, we lost. There, we can't win. Oh, shoot. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, we have to do this in one turn, and we can't do it in one turn. Oh, that's too bad. That is really too bad. I thought we had this. When we discovered the chamber, I thought we had it. Unfortunately, we added a little too much Doom in play, and that ended up costing us. I think the adding the Vengeance also hurt us badly. We'll play it out, though, and see what happens. We will add a Doom, or we get our... no, we have to draw an encounter card first, which is the Serpent of Yoth. That just complicates things even more. While there is one or more vengeance points in the victory display, Serpent of Yoth gains Retaliate, so he has Retaliate. While there are 2 or more vengeance points in the victory display, he gains Hunter, and while there are 3 or more vengeance points in the victory display, Serpent of Yoth takes 1 less damage from each attack made against it. He'll hit you for a health and 2 sanity, and he's worth a victory point. We're not going to be killing him, although he does get +1 evade, so he's going to be a 4. Unfortunately, that just seals our doom. We do get three actions, but we have to use one of them to evade the Serpent of Yoth. So he's a 4. We are a 4. We can use the Inquiring Mind to go 5, 6, 7. We draw a car, or we draw... There's the Elder Thing. Draw another one. We get +1. So we do manage to evade the Serpent of Yoth. So now we can play our shortcut to move to the Grand Chamber. The Harbinger and the Brood will both engage us. And we will use field work after you move to a location. Oh, it doesn't have a clue, so it doesn't matter. Ah, well, nice try. We've got to evade the Harbinger for sure, so we will pitch all of our resources to the hyper-awareness. So that is 4, 5, 6, 7 versus 4. We could pitch Jake. 7 versus 4 is 3. No. Chaos Bag gives us a -5. So he's alert, so he will hit us for 2 damage and 2 horror. We can try to evade him again, but he is going to kill us this turn, I think. 2, 3. No, not quite. But we can only go... We can only go 3 versus... We can only go 4 versus 4, and if he hits us, he kills us. We've lost the game anyway, I believe. Probably it ends the campaign unless you can escape from the temple, so... We'll go down fighting. We will try to evade the Harbinger. And there's another -5. So yeah, that's a lot of -5s to draw. So he will hit us for another 2 and 2. And then we take another 2 and 2. And 1 and 1. And we are dead. Well, I screwed up there at the end. I should have been running for it. I didn't I didn't realize I needed a clue at the. I'd forgotten that I needed a clue at that location for field work. That was a wasted action. I should have been moving. Unfortunately, I think we were probably going to be dead anyway because that Serpent of Yoth did come off the top of the encounter deck, which would require us to evade him as well. I think the bad start really cost us because we ended up with first we ended up with a Doom on the entryway, which I don't think you should in most games. And we also ended up with 2 Doom on the Ancient Hall, and really I think Ursula should be able to deal with that location. It is nasty that you've got to spend the resources to prevent the flip, but really if you're going 7 versus 3 on 3 checks, you should be able to grab 2 clues. That's just, the probability of failing 3 times like that is really, really low when you're at 7 versus 3, and we added that 2 Doom. So, if we hadn't have added all that Doom, we would have given ourselves, that's 3 extra turns at this point. We would have been in a much better position. I made several errors there at the end. I did have that Inquiring Mind sitting in my hand. I should have used that to break the Entombed. We lost an entire turn doing that. So that was a big mistake on my part, and also forgetting the field work was a big mistake. So I did make some mistakes there at the end, unfortunately. Unfortunate. But that happens when you're playing. Sometimes you make decisions that in hindsight you look at them and you're like, well, I could have done better there. So I certainly could have played better there at the end. It's an interesting mechanic how they basically make it a race. They do make it a race. I thought there for a second that it's going to be pretty easy to get out of this place because if I can get past those enemies, I can just skip over to, say, the Ancient Hall, or even just get to the Grand Chamber and I could get out. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. You've got to put them all in a line and run for it. And I was just too slow. So I think we got very good draws. I think we got pretty much every location we needed in the right order on the way in. It's just unfortunate that I was too slow, made those mistakes at the end. And then drawing the Serpent of Yoth really was sort of the icing on the cake, because if we had been at a location, we would have had to have evaded at least twice, and with all that Doom in play, that really doesn't help us all that much. And the Chaos Bag was a total bastard this game. A total bastard. Man, oh man. Like, I've never seen the -5 token as often as I have seen it today. And so I think that start really doomed us, as you may say. But now that I've had a chance to play both scenarios in the Forgotten Age, I think Untamed Wild is, I've played it now with Ursula and Calvin as well. I had a lot more trouble with it with Calvin, but I think that has more to do with Calvin than the actual scenario. Calvin can be a little slow to get going, and you sort of need to take a lot of damage at the beginning to ramp him up. But I have beaten it with Calvin. This scenario, you really need to try to keep the Doom off the locations as much as possible. And I think if I had... it was the Burial Pit as well that I took the 2 Doom. I thought I had enough time, but drawing 2 cards off the top of the encounter deck for Ursula with the potential enemies in there, I just thought, if I draw another couple enemies and they have Hunter, another Brood of Yig, and all of a sudden I've got evading is going to be very tricky. And I don't have cards like the Survivors do, where if you evade one enemy, you evade them all, and you can escape and stuff like that. Ursula's really got to do it the hard way. So, yeah. But I'm looking forward to tackling this again now that I've played it through, and I know sort of what I need to do in order to beat it. I think it's definitely beatable. It's not. I don't think it's impossible by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, you really do need to keep that doom off the locations. And if you can try to keep stuff out of the victory display, even better. I did add those 2 ancestral fears, but I mean, there you're really given a bad dilemma. I mean, you've either got to place 1 doom on your location, or you add an ancestral fear to your victory display. So you're either going to add doom, which is going to be bad, or you're going to be adding vengeance, which is bad at the end if you hope to evade anything. So there you go. Anyway, I enjoyed this playthrough. I really hope that all of you enjoyed it. If you notice that I made any mistakes other than the ones that I've pointed out just because of my own stupidity, leave a comment down below. Let me point them out to me. I think I did okay this one, but you never know. It's kind of tricky sometimes to play and record at the same time. But thank you very much for watching. That's going to do it for me today. If you enjoyed this playthrough, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you need to contact me, I can be reached at manfromleng@gmail.com. I'm also on Twitter at manfromleng. Until the stars are right, keep your shotgun close and your elder sign closer. Take care out there, and happy investigating.